Okay, so this is my review of episode 6 of WandaVision, all new Halloween Spooktacular. Now, from the promos of this episode, this was the episode I was most excited for when we get to the Halloween and the 90s. Being a 90s kid, being Halloween my favorite episode, I was really excited for this. And what was really great about this episode is knowing that there's 9 episodes in this season. This is a really effective transitional episode to push us into the final act here, going now into the final 3 episodes starting next week. What's also interesting is this was an episode where there was a lot of promo footage we saw of this episode, and all the prior episodes too. But now we're going to go into the territory of stuff we haven't seen in promos. There's kind of this blank slate now of we don't even know what to expect coming up now. So it's going to be a really exciting final stretch. But having said that, what really impressed me about this episode is that the Halloween episode was probably the most shown footage in promos for this show, but somehow they masked the kids being in it, Quicksilver being in it. They really kept things under wraps so well. And they really nailed this Malcolm in the Middle feel, all these 90s type shows. With the intro here, I always applaud the humor and how well they write the music for it. But just the amount of detail put into it, that extra effort to really nail this. And they nailed that 90s feel with breaking the fourth wall with Billy here. And that classic humor where someone brings up a memory and then they cut to that memory and come back when Evan Peters is actually bringing up when they were trick-or-treating as kids. And Evan Peters is the perfect actor to pull off this type of vibe, especially because he's so good at really fast, witty dialogue. And you got to just give him props because he's just really nailing it here in this episode. And it makes you so happy they went with him as Quicksilver. It's also crazy because I just realized in this episode, not the last episode, that Billy here is played by young Luke from Haunting of Hill House. Awesome to always see anyone from Haunting of Hill House show up in anything, so that excited me. But what's really stood out to me is how well this show has pulled off telling its main story through different vehicles each episode, where it's a different decade, a different type of format of show they have to do it through, while making that accurate, giving Easter eggs, and also pushing the plot forward and making it interesting. And it's really stood out how effective they've been doing that, especially in the last 2 episodes, where, like I said, they're doing a good job at blending what's going on with Sword and then cutting to what's going on with Westview. But why this episode is such an effective transitional episode is because by the end of it, it's bringing those 2 factions of Sword and Westview, our 2 settings, together to set up for that final act of the last 3. So you knew it was coming with Wanda and Vision. We'd see their comic outfits be their Halloween costumes, but it was really cool to see the kids have theirs, being that Billy and Tommy are dressed really as their younger Avengers counterparts, and that we get to see Quicksilver here in his costume. They do a great job of revealing the twins' powers. Tommy's got Quicksilver's super speed powers, and then later on, that Billy has powers like his mother. They also drop in lines that are really gonna just feed people's theories even more now, that there's this villain who's the devil here, and people think it's Dottie. And what feeds that theory is this big line Quicksilver says really quick, where he's like, unleash hell demon spawn to the kids. So that's really making you think now there is this bigger villain behind all of this, and that it's probably the devil. There's also some really effective, seriously creepy moments, and I loved in particular when Vision was first doing his neighborhood watch and he notices that woman hanging up Halloween decorations outside and she's just going like this. I love that the director decided to hang on that shot, because that's what made it creepy, is it just kept going and she's crying. Really eerie. And it goes to Vision now seeing all these people at the edge of Westview now just stopped. They're not moving. And it has that Westworld feel to it, leading to a great scene where he finds Agnes now. Now, remember, a lot of people think Agnes is the character from the comics. Agatha, who's a witch, who kind of shows Scarlet Witch her powers. But look, she's dressed like a witch. She's got the gray hair. It might be a red herring, but it's interesting they let her do that witch-like laugh in her not brainwashed state. So I really do believe we'll see that she was the one kind of helping Scarlet Witch learn more about how powerful she actually is, and that she probably is a victim too, but was kind of part of this mess that got her and Wanda in this trap, whoever the big power is, using Wanda's big power, or maybe just influencing her. That's what's so effective too, is you're constantly wondering, like, how much of an antagonist is Wanda in this show, in this story, because we see at the end she uses her powers to bring that hex further, but who was really the influence behind her? Is someone influencing her mind? Don't really fully know. They do a good job of keeping mystery throughout while they're still giving us answers. And the tone here, there's still so much creepy stuff going on. This 90s kids commercial, which really nails those type of commercials, are all over the place watching that as kids. And it's this yogurt commercial for Yo Magic. And also this big moment where, like when Wanda saw Vision in this dead body version, it was even scarier seeing Pietro in the body that was killed by Ultron, and that she's just using a dead corpse that she's actually talking to. But the big plunge to move the plot forward is getting Vision to step out of Westview, him learning more from Agnes. It's interesting he doesn't know, obviously, about what happened before his death, that he was even an Avenger, but he does have enough information to kind of attach us to Vision now as a protagonist to kind of help Wanda through this. But he hits a wall. He can't get out of Westview because that's what's keeping him alive. And it's a great catalyst to get Wanda to snap here. Also, great catalyst for us to reveal Billy's powers, that he can hear Vision and what's going on with him. And this great cliffhanger of Wanda now. We're fully seeing how powerful Scarlet Witch is, and she just extends the hex, bringing Darcy in, which again is so interesting because now we're going to see next episode Darcy in some kind of odd state. And how fitting it is that S.W.O.R.D. becomes a circus. The only thing that hurt this episode a little bit, it wasn't the best stuff here with Wu, Monica, and Darcy combating with Hayward. Hayward's clearly a villain here now, which was already set up last episode, but he's fully going in that way. There's a lot of hand-holding here. They're giving a lot of exposition through Darcy. A lot of convenience to how they're finding information, how quickly she's able to hack through things and explain things. She's kind of becoming a plot bot. And I wasn't crazy about, especially the moment when Wu and Monica just take down those henchmen really quick and throw them in a van. It was like, okay, that was pretty tropey, but wasn't the best on the S.W.O.R.D. side, for sure. But I'm happy that, like I said, they're bringing that now together. Bringing that setting to our setting of the Hex, bringing them in. It's going to be interesting to see if Monica and Wu actually got sucked in. I don't think they did. I think they're probably going to get away, and they kind of left the cliffhanger seeing if Hayward got away, so that's going to be interesting. But again, it's bringing now us into this final act. We're going to have now some serious conflict. It leaves you so excited for the next episode. It's just this big mystery. But I do have a feeling by the end of all this, we're going to get probably a full episode of what went on in the past with Wanda following Vision's death and how this all began. I really dug this episode. I'm giving it a 9.4. Still excellent. I'm still blown away how good this show has just been on this roll since episode 4. So like 4, 5, 6, it's now just rolling here. And it just leaves you more and more excited each week. I love the week-to-week format. It just shows you how effective still water cooler talk is. If this was just bingeable in one sitting, it would have happened weeks ago and been over with. And then people would be like, well, when's the next Marvel show? Like, no, I like that they're making each episode this big event. It makes it that much more exciting. Call me old school, call me old fashioned, but there's a lot of downside to that Netflix type show of binging, where it's just like junk food. You just swallow it, you're done, you can't just savor it, and you can really appreciate what's going on week to week. I'm not just saying that because it helps my format of doing week to week reviews, but I always prefer it because I love discussing things with people and theories, so it makes it that much more fun. But yes, I'm giving this a 9.4. Let me know what you guys thought of WandaVision down below, episode 6. I'd really like to hear your theories as well. Every thought you have. Let's just get the discussion going. Please check out my other reviews I do of Servant right now, Your Honor. I'll be doing more shows and movies coming out. I also do celebrity interviews. You're going to check those out. If you really like what I do here, please subscribe. It helps me in so many ways you have no idea. And if you love what I do here, will help me to do more reviews and videos for you guys and do this full time. It's just a $2 monthly donation you can commit to. It's a PayPal link. I would really appreciate that. It's linked down below. And please follow me at Steve Varley Show on Twitter and Instagram for more of me. And I'll see you next time.